Okay, dear Year 6 students, today we're going to work from the Learner's Book, page 104, and the lesson today is about a poem called The Listeners. It's a poem that is written by the writer or the poet Walter de la Mare. And it's one of a new kind of poems which tells a story. So today we're learning a poem that actually tells a story. So please make sure you really work hard, understand, try to analyze everything you watch here. We will deal with it normally as we are dealing with a normal story. However, we will be focusing on the poetic elements used. Get ready with your book and please focus. The listeners. Is there anybody there? Said the traveler, knocking on the moonlit door. And his horse in the silence champed the grass of the forest's ferny floor. You know what? I would better give you a 1 minute of silent reading for the poem. Take a 1 minute of silent reading before I go ahead and read it line and line and analyze it with you. Take 1 minute of complete reading, silent reading. Make sure you read the whole part of it, everything about it. Page 104 and 105. So guys, the first line here, is there anybody there? Said the traveler. Now we had the first character in the poem. So we started actually having the first part or the first element of a story. Isn't in a story we do have characters? Now we had one character, said the traveler. Not only this, we are using a dialogue strategy, a quotation strategy, something that is in relation to storytelling. So is there anybody there? As you mentioned earlier and as you thought, this is alliteration. I'm using there and there. Yes, the first sound for the letters. It works. But my main concept here is that the poem is serving its target. What target? That it's telling or it tells a story. And I really cover the first element of a story by having quotations, by having a dialogue, and by having a character. Knocking on the moonlit door. The moonlit door. So that shows that, what time is it right now? Yes, as you suggested, it is night time. How could I know that it is night time? By the reference of the moonlit door that shows a sitting. So I had now a character, and I do have what else? A sitting. That's right. So that's really an important part of what? Yes, story. Great. And his horse in the silence champed the grass. Wow. So here, what does this line tell me about the character? What does this line tell me about the character? That he's riding what? Riding a horse. Doesn't this tell you something about the time or the year or the time frame of the poem? Usually, if there is a door that is lit by moon, which means that there is no electricity in that area, and there is a man who's riding a horse, that shows you another thing. It shows you that, sure, we are not in the meantime. We're not living in 2000, blah, blah, blah. So we are in a time where horses were used as mean of transport. So we might be in the amount or the time frame of 1800s, 1900s, and something like that. Right? Great. Now, moving forward to the fourth line, of the forest's ferny floor. of the forest's ferny floor. Let's analyze together third and fourth line. And his horse in the silence. Silence, the word silence here. What part of your senses are we using? We're using the hearing sense, right? In the silence, it shows and it gives you what impression? Which impression does it give you, or does it give you? Think of it clearly, please. Yes. Yeah. Okay. In the silence, first of all, shows that this place is inhabited, that no one is living there. It is an empty place. If there is a horse and there is a rider of a horse and they are moving together in a place where it is really silent, it shows that no one is there at that time. Maybe because no one lives there, maybe because everyone is sleeping and they are late at night. This image is not really clear right now, but moving forward, we might know. His horse in the silence champed the grass. What is the meaning of champ the grass? Champ the grass when you eat things with making noises and chewing the grass. So this image shows that his horse is caring for anything. He cares for anything. Actually, he is very relaxed, or it is very relaxed, the matter that he's just eating and chewing and nothing. Of the forest's ferny floor, that is another part that completes the sitting. So now I knew where he is. He is in a forest. That's right. And how does this forest look like? If you check here, you'll find that it has ferny floor. What is the meaning of ferny floor? Think of it, please. Ferny. Ferny, think of it. What is the meaning of the word ferny? Okay, ferny means covered heavily. But since I'm talking about floor, it would be covered with what was referred to it before, which is the grass. So ferny floor means heavily covered with grass. Now, this idea of deeply or heavily covered with grass shows you something. He said before anybody there. So it means he couldn't see anyone. And down, horse in the silence. And we agreed that since it's silent, it has two options. Either no one is living there at all, or it's too late that no one is waking up. And we said that we will know later. I guess we knew now. Since it's ferny floor, it has heavy grass, it means it's rarely cropped and it's rarely eaten, which means that there is no human interference inside this grass. So no one is really taking care of them. So this area has nobody living there at all till the moment that the rider arrived. Now, before we go deeply and start talking, there are two main questions that I'm waiting for your answers. Question number one, what is the rhyming scheme for this, for these four lines? Question number two, till now, what theme and atmosphere is really covered and available here? So please think and tell me. Now, after you thought, talking about the rhyming scheme, let's check the last sound of each. Said the traveler, that is A. Moonlit door, B. Chop the grass, C. Ferny floor repeats door, so that's A, B, C, B. A, B, C, B. Regarding the theme and atmosphere, you usually, in order to get the atmosphere and the theme of the topic, you really have to go by the keywords. The keywords here, anybody there? Loneliness. He's alone with his horse. Moonlit door. This image of moon-lit doors is only and commonly used for horror, for scary things, for frightening images. If you recall it in your mind, close your eyes. You are in deep forest where grass is really thick, heavy, and you can just have a door that is lit by moon, and it's really dark around you. You only have your horse. No one is supporting you. Oh my God, that is really bad. So the image here is scary and terrifying. And the atmosphere is loneliness and scary and frightening things. Okay, great. Now we will move to them 4 lines and 4 lines. Let me suggest and actually explain something. If you watch the whole poem, you will find that the whole poem is written in lines. It's following a one stanza style. So there is only one stanza here. The poem is not divided into stanzas. It's only all of it as one stanza. So I would appreciate if you think of the coming 4 lines from "and the bird flew up out of the turret" until "is there anybody there?" Think of it, please. Try to analyze it in your mind. Okay. Now, upon your thinking, let's analyze together. First of all, let's go ahead with the rhyming scheme. Turret, head, time, said. Till now, it is still following the same rhyming scheme. A, B, C, B. Turret, head, time, said. Great. Now, "and the bird flew up out of the turret." Imagine this idea and put this image in your mind. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Make sure you close now and think and imagine what I'm going to say. I'm moving with my horse. I'm riding my horse. My horse is moving slowly in the deep nighttime. I stood in front of a door that is covered with moonlight. I knocked the door, waiting for someone to reply. Nothing. No one replied. And the bird flew up out of the turret. The bird flew up out of the turret. So there are birds into a turret. What is a turret? A turret is something looks like a tower. It's a small tower at the top of the house. So now I am in front of a house that has a turret. This turret has lots of birds. So this image, a bird flew up out of the turret. I think it is better for you to see the image of turret. This is a turret. It's kind of a small tower at the top of a building or a castle. It was usually used for observing things, watching things. So this turret, if you watch most of the pictures available here, you will find that all turrets were in old ancient houses. So that gives you an image of the time the poem was written upon or used for. Another idea, if birds flew when he knocked, it means that birds were not actually like sad or mad or angry of anything except of his knock. They were in peace until he came. So the bird flew up out of the turret above the traveler's head. And he smote upon the door again a second time. And he smote upon the door again. He smote. He smote. What is the meaning of he smote? Okay, the verb smote is in the past simple. Smote is the past simple of the verb smite. Make sure you write. It is the past simple of the verb smite. Smite means to strike things strongly, to knock things strongly, to hit something strongly. And usually smite or smote is to knock, not to hit, which is you're gonna hurt someone. No, smote is to knock on something. And he smote upon the door again a second time. Is there anybody there? He said. So actually here, till line number 8, all we can have is the traveler dealing with nature all the time. He's still lonely alone. No one with him. Moving down a little bit to the next 4 lines, I'll give you the same time of thinking. 1 minute of deep thinking, please. Now, upon thinking, let's complete. The man now, for the second time, knocks the door, waiting, but no one descended to the traveler. No head from the leaf French cell. Leaned over and looked into his gray eyes, where he stood perplexed and still. Talking about the rhyming scheme again, that is going to be traveler cell, eyes still. A, B, C, B. Same rhyming scheme. And since it's only one stanza, usually, since it's written in one stanza style, it's going to use the same rhyming scheme till the end. But no one descended to the traveler. No one went down to the traveler. Now, descended to the traveler, I would appreciate if you think deeply, what information does this give you about the house? What information does it give you about the house? Think. So using descended in this line shows that this place is or consists of 2 floors or maybe more. No one descended. It also shows another idea that no one lives there since no one replied, or maybe they are sleeping. We can't be sure till we complete and go on. No head from the leaf French sill. No head. No head, it means no one. Like, sure, you want to represent yourself as head. Like, it's not your head who will go. It's mainly concerned about a person. No person from the leaf French sill. Leaned over and looked into his gray eyes. So no one looked at his gray eyes. Is there a person with gray eyes? Sure, it doesn't mean literally gray eyes as much as he means that the moon is reflecting on his eyes that may